Hello and welcome. Tonight on the show, we ask the question, are you the master of your domain? We're going to be trying Gravy Master's bright orange tip in a little cute tiny bottle. It looks like a health potion. We're so excited to have you here today. Thank you for listening. This is Soft Spoken.
And we're back. We are Sauce Spoken, with a podcast detailing your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. I'll be your host. My name's Adam, and I'm joined here this week by my co-host, Tori.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Tori, of course. Yes, this is Soft Spoken. And to my right, the little-known inventor of the hand sign, the thumbs up, believe it or not, our friend, Eric, and co-host, Eric.
He sure is little and he sure is known, that's for damn sure.
Known by who? Known by no one, I think, but all right.
By all 13 of our followers.
Yeah, that's thumbs up.
Hey,
Ooh.
thumbs up is one of my universal signs I love to...
Believe it or not.
To flash, but yeah.
Goodwill towards men.
That
lot
and
of
the
credit.
OK symbol.
Held downward. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop,
Can't do
whoop,
that.
whoop.
Oh, remember that trick growing up? If you held that
That's right.
like on your knee, you got to punch somebody. It had a
Yeah.
name, didn't it?
Right.
It had some silly name, and then most recently it was in the news for other reasons.
Or the
Right.
circle game.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, though.
When you punch somebody, I thought it was the circle.
No, yeah, you're right. That was you had to hold it below your waist.
Yeah, below the waist was
Below the
crucial.
waist.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be a vagina, right? That was the idea.
Oh, I don't know.
I
I thought that was the point.
thought it was just an excuse to just punch your buddy.
Oh, well, yeah.
Excuse to punch your buddy.
But
Yeah.
I thought that was like the innuendo. It was like you had to hold a circle below your waist, and someone else had to stick their finger in it, right?
Oh.
Oh, no.
Thought that was the
We
whole
didn't
thing.
play that way. It was just, if you look down there,
Yeah, if you look, you're caught.
if you got
Oh, but I
eyes
thought you
wondering...
were like safe if you like did something with your finger or something.
Maybe that's the advanced.
Maybe that was the
rules.
Northeast
That's the
Ohio
expansion
version.
pack. Yeah.
Yeah, the Alexa farting expansion pack edition.
And then there was the doorknob game that's sort of on that same vein. Just another dumb excuse to
Which one
punch
was
your
that?
buddy. But if you let
Oh,
one,
yeah.
if you let one,
Oh, right.
if you let one toot, your buddy is allowed to punch you
until you touch a doorknob.
until you touch a doorknob.
Yep, I do remember that. My friends also had a special thing that was just for me, which was every time the song "Every Time We Touch" played, you got "Every Time We Touch."
Okay, got it. Yep.
That song. Every time that song would come on, for the duration of the song, they were allowed to beat the shit out of me until
Wow.
the song was changed.
Wow.
That was the rule.
Wow.
And everyone, all my friends, male and female, knew that was fair game on me, just me specifically. I don't know how what originated that, but
I'm playing it in my song now with the
yeah, they would like to hit me to the beat. They would like, pop, 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 pop. Every time we touch, I get this feeling. Pop, pop, pop.
wow.
Yeah, kind of dick move. Yeah,
Does that bring back negative memories?
yeah. I have PTSD from that still.
Understood.
Getting off of that
That explains
subject.
why I'm such a bully now.
Moving on. It's
He
like a
was picked
fraternity
on.
house.
Yeah, he was picked on a lot as a child,
We
apparently.
picked on a lot. We picked on each other a lot, but there was also a period of time where, for whatever reason, it was funny to hit me in the balls, and it was
Ooh.
just me. I don't know exactly I don't know why it was that, but it was like, hey guys, hit him in the nuts.
That's just cruel.
Man, that is rough.
I
Yeah.
know, and there was no call for that either. But
Wow. Shaped you into the young
child.
man you are today.
yes, all childhood. Now,
So has your week been better, Adam? Better than your childhood?
better than my childhood?
I certainly hope so.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was fine. We recently had a couple of gully washer storms here, Eric. You are the rain man, as we've mentioned. Every time we try to go for a bike ride, you bring the rain.
I do seem to, the thunderstorm and dark clouds follow me. You guys used to think it was just, I'd bring into the room and be the Eeyore of the group. No, literally, they follow me.
Yeah,
You're the
literally.
Sandman.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know what the cause. We didn't even manage to get on our bikes yesterday. Well, actually, luckily, we didn't get caught in the middle of it
Oh, that'd have been
that was
awful.
One
That
hell
would've
of a
been-
storm
yeah.
that came through. So.
because there was feet of water in some areas. I had to drive through downtown Pittsburgh, and as I was telling you guys, there was water pouring over the hood of my Jeep in certain areas as I was trying to drive. It was quite alarming.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, you may or may not know, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is known for it's very hilly. I wouldn't say mountains, but they're
old mountains.
They're old
Yes.
mountains, yeah. And some of these roads, like Route 19 heading south of the city, is basically following what was once a washout kind of river, essentially. So all of the surrounding neighborhoods that are mountains, essentially, are draining into this major route, and it's insane, the amount of flooding.
Yeah. Happens a lot. You see it a lot.
Yep.
You do, yeah. There's Route 19 is
It's like
the
a
only
bowl.
one.
Yeah, everything's bowl shaped.
Right.
Yeah,
And also known for being, the Three Rivers in Pittsburgh, and those also tend to flood. The Point has flooded. That's
Most
where
certainly.
many a times.
for the non-local listeners, that's where the Three Rivers come together. There's a point there where there used to be home of some old forts, and that point there tends to flood on a semi-regular basis when we get heavy rain.
Indeed. And all the tributaries and deltas that feed into those rivers, of course,
Exactly.
have felt
Absolutely, yep.
quite the volume as of late.
Did you ever see the movie The Reverence? I think it's called Reverence.
Oh, yeah, with
Leonardo DiCaprio?
yeah.
That-
Reverend.
Reverent.
Revenant. Revenant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. One of those.
Something like that.
Whatever.
The Revenant.
The Revenant. But
The
it takes place in
Reverend.
Pittsburgh in like 1700s, isn't it? Isn't that's the fort? That's the rivers that takes
Yeah,
place?
you might be right. Like Fort Pitt.
I think so.
Are you comfortable enough to take a hard stand?
I'm going to take a hard
stance. That
stance
sounds
on
right.
that. I'll look it up in the show
I don't
notes.
remember that one when I was watching it, but that does sound right. Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll put that in the show notes. That being said, Eric, how was your week this week?
Yeah, other than dodging, thunderstorms.
Causing, arguably.
Or causing, either way. That'd be really cool kind of power, actually.
But you can't control it.
Yeah.
So not a power so much as a curse.
Right. No, I've had a really busy day, a bit busy few
Really
days at
busy.
work. We've been getting a whole bunch of new work, a lot of stainless steel work, some forming, some stuff for Smithfield Foods. It's one of the companies we've been working for. And yeah, we got stuff going out to...
Smithfield Foods makes sausages and stuff, right?
absolutely.
Very good. Do they make any sausages?
Ooh.
I don't know if they make any sauces. That'd be interesting.
That'd be cool if you had a sausage with a sauce in it. Like kind of like those kielbasis with like the cheddar in them.
Yeah, exactly. I think,
Cheddar wurst.
What would you replace it with?
I don't know, mustard. A mustard. Wurst.
Duke's mayonnaise.
Yeah, Duke's mayo.
Duke's mayo.
Fuck yeah. Actually, that would be really good if you got like a hot Italian sausage with some mayo in it. I don't know
Yeah.
about being hot, but that would be good on it, I think.
it would be good on it.
I don't know if grilled mayo would be good, but I like I said, if you slap it on a bun with some, that'd be hella good.
I can dig.
Even when you put the cheese inside those, it's always like interesting because you can see it like oozing out of it.
Yes, that's what makes it delicious.
It is.
You don't like that because there's
I
no
don't.
cheese in my dog, please.
I can't wait to try it on a grilled cheese. Try that trick. I cannot wait.
Oh yeah,
I've heard such good
Yeah.
rave reviews about it, and I think if I've gone, I'm pretty sure I've had like a grilled cheese at a restaurant before, and I think they do that often at a restaurant. So.
yeah. I think that's an old timey trick,
Nice. Love it.
which makes sense. You figure like eggs and oil, makes pretty perfect sense.
Yeah, right,
It
yeah.
sounds kind of gross conceptually, if you don't think about it, like break it down like that.
I think it would be damn delicious. I'm
I think
excited to try it.
The first time I heard that, I think I had in mind Miracle Whip,
Oh,
which obviously, as we mentioned, I don't think that would be good on that.
No.
I don't even know if it would work.
it wouldn't work. I don't think at all. I would. I think under heat, I think Miracle Whip would like separate and just be like real runny, whereas mayonnaise has just
Right.
a thicker consistency to it, and it has all that egg and the oil, and
Right.
it actually creates almost like a batter. It kind of like browns
Exactly.
up on there.
Almost like a French toast type thing.
Yeah. Mm.
Speaking of French toast, have you guys ever had a grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I never have. I know someone the one time, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. No, not 20 years ago. 15 years ago. Seems more closer.
Making yourself old
Closer
there.
to 15 years ago.
Well, yeah.
I don't remember how fucking old I am. I feel like an ancient. Was trying to convince me.
Your buddies beat the living shit out of you
Yeah,
for
right.
5 years.
Yeah, that's what aged me 10 years
Yeah,
in
I mean,
advance.
that'll do it.
But no, she was trying to convince me to try this thing, and I just thought that was the bizarrest thing I'd ever heard of, and I never did actually try one. But
Oh, so to this day, you still never had a
no,
grilled?
I never had one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
The peanut
Sounds
butter.
good now.
Yeah, the peanut butter can be like napalm, dude. If you're not careful, it will
Yeah, I can see
burn
that.
the living heck out of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I did mine. Truth be told, with bananas instead of jelly. Had the Elvis Presley, if you
The
will.
king,
All
yeah.
right.
The king sandwich. My favorite. I actually prefer that over
jelly.
Over
Didn't he
jelly.
put honey on it or something too?
Oh, that would be good.
I have tried it that way, and it's good.
I thought he
Yeah.
put like honey and whipped cream and shit on it too.
Oh, you
I know
can't
he
lose.
was extra. He
He was a big
definition of
boy.
extra,
Yeah, right.
That sounds like something the king would do, that's for sure. I'll have to look that up, too. Put that in the find out exactly what is the Elvis Presley peanut butter and what combination, so...
Put it in the show notes, Eric.
Absolutely, I will. I'll have to look that up, because now I want to make sure I've been eating it right, I did.
Right.
That is the preferred
Make sure
method. I do
make
like
sure
it
you
over
shit yourself to death on your toilet too.
peanut
Yeah,
butter and jelly.
Oh, come
that's
on.
what he's aiming for. What about
It's
you?
lonely at the top.
What about you, Tori? How was your week?
Oh, I went to a really nice wedding on Saturday. Yeah, it was a gorgeous affair. And Saturday here was outstandingly brilliant day, exceedingly marvelous day, hot, beautiful day to have a bow tie on and a suit,
right?
A wool suit, of course.
Perfect.
You know, and my wife, of course, was very hot all day, and she certainly let me know about it. She had the convenience and the ease and the comfort, I'm sure, of a dress.
Right.
I didn't.
Right.
I had wool pants on.
Right, but you like it warm.
I do like it warm.
And she doesn't like anything, any scenarios.
I'm willing to concede that. Oh, boy. But yeah, the wedding was, it was stunning. It was down at the Sheridan.
Oh, okay.
Down at the Station Square, and it was just fabulous. It was a very nice meal with nice food. Did a little dancing. It was really terrific.
I saw an Instagram post from your wife. The Instagram that we are forbidden to mention on this podcast because she doesn't want to share any content there. But she had something like 3 glasses of Chardonnay, and she was feeling it the next day at her lifting. I guess.
Oh boy, yeah.
I'm sure you had to hear about that too.
Yep, I was right there.
TG, why'd you let me drink so much?
That's right, babe.
I think you nailed it there.
I got broad shoulders.
It was so hot, TG.
Why didn't you? With this whole electric being out.
Oh, right.
Today was Monday, and I was supposed to not work from home today.
Okay.
So
TG!
Bright and early, babe. You know it. 6 a.m. Walks in. Tor, the power's still out.
Just so you know.
Yeah, hon, thanks. My feet didn't even touch the ground.
Tori, I was too hot all night long. I had to sleep in the basement, and I was too hot. I had to open a window.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by that. She came into work and was saying how she has to throw everything away out of the fridge now because it's been over 12 hours.
I don't want to make fun of Amy too much on the podcast because she might want to come back on at some point, but I did think that was pretty funny. She said, that's it. We've crossed the line. Throw it all out of the fridge. I opened my fridge that morning. I was like, oh, shit's still like really cold in here. Like, I'm not throwing shit out. It's going to be fine.
Most refrigerators, I would imagine. I don't know. I mean, hey, I did Google it just because I couldn't believe her. And then I Googled it, and that's what they say. Well, throw it all away after 4 hours. They say to throw away milk, eggs.
Well, no. Here, I think you maybe didn't read it because I read that same thing actually. Because I did. I actually also looked it up. I was like, is she right about this? I've never heard of this before. I don't think I've ever done that before. Like, unless it was,
right, days.
Because my thing is like, days. I've left milk out in my car overnight, and brought it, and it just goes bad faster, but it didn't make me sick. Like, it just doesn't stay good as long. It might be bad before the Best Buy date. But my thing is, like, if you read that full article, what it says is, like, after a certain amount of time, you're supposed to check the temperature. And if the temperature goes above 40 degrees, then the hard countdown starts. And it's like a certain number of hours past rising above 40 degrees is when you're supposed to throw stuff out. Which makes sense, because if you think about it, like we did on Memorial Day, we talked about, well, that stuff set out all day.
Oh, sure.
Hours. We let it sit out in the hot sun for like 6 hours, and then I ate the rest of that week, and it was, I know.
Right, I ate it for 10 days afterwards.
I know. Now, maybe our immune systems are hardened to that kind of thing, but...
Hell yeah.
But in general, I mean, you do that. I don't think something being in the fridge at 5 degrees warmer than it should be is any...
I know Amy was saying how she pulled everything that she could salvage and put it in with like coolers with an ice pack, and I'm thinking...
How's that?
You took it out of a cooler and put it in another cooler.
a larger, more efficient cooler.
Yeah, put the ice in the fridge at that point. No, I think it's fine. I'm not throwing anything out of my fridge. I'm gonna fucking do it.
Nope.
And if I get sick, I'll look like a real asshole. I'll update you guys next week.
Right. Well, Tori's not gonna get sick because the food safety is real at that household.
Food safety is real, dude. Food safety is very real. So... Yeah, I mean, the wedding, I don't know if we're still wrapping up our week, if we moved on to the power outage or all that, but yeah.
Segue, but that's okay.
I got woken up 6 a.m. this morning to...
TG!
The power is still out. My magic wand still don't have no juice in it, son of a bitch.
I'm not sure if you're making an allusion to this or not, but you know what a magic... Never mind. A magic wand is one of the most popular brand of vibrator too, right?
No,
I'd never.
Yeah, Hitachi magic wand is like the classic king of vibrators. That's when you said my magic wand is out of juice. I was like, I can see why she'd be complaining about that too.
Did you know
I was not.
Oh,
for our podcast listeners, I think Tori was trying to say a metaphorical magic wand of actual magic, not a
Yeah.
world famous vibrator that is also out of juice, which would also cause, distress in women. Hysteria, if you would.
Yeah.
Now, I know we're getting real late in the episode, but did you guys know that's actually like a diagnosable thing they used to give women was hysteria, and the way that they treated that was by, stimulation. Doctors would stimulate them until they were done being hysterical. Did you know that?
No.
I don't remember that particular point where they would.
And that's why they
stimulate
actually,
them.
that's literally why they actually invented vibrators, is so that doctors didn't wear their hands out doing that. That's literally true. I'm not making this up.
Wow.
So we've been talking a lot tonight about things that are the best, things that are the world's best vibrators, things, the best, the king of rock and roll, the master of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, as we mentioned. So why don't we go ahead and roll on to another thing that Elvis probably would have liked. Gravy Master sauce? I don't know. What do you call it? What do you guys call this stuff? Tincture? I want to call it tincture because of its shape.
And
What do you think
honestly,
this is?
I mean, it's a flavor enhancer, really. This is.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
boy.
Here we go.
No, what does it say right on the bottle? What does it
Casting
say?
that
It doesn't say flavor enhancer.
No.
That's for fucking sure. It does say salt on it.
No,
No, I'm going to give it to Tori because I want. What do you call this stuff, Tori? You've had this before.
The closest thing that and this sort of leads me into a quandary and tasting note, so I don't know how far out in this rabbit hole you want to go down into. But I don't know, man. I would say it's sort of on the same level as like a beef bouillon cube or something like that. But
Right.
just as we tried it tonight, I didn't think the flavor was strong enough to justify. Or are we talking jar size?
I just want. What do you call this? What is
you
it?
call
Do you
it a
call it
sauce?
seasoning? A sauce? A
Oh, I like seasoning.
condiment?
No, I don't think it's a condiment per se.
Well, we
Definitely
used
not.
it. Well, okay.
We
so
used it like a condiment.
okay, so the point is it's called Gravy Master, and let's go ahead. We'll get the listeners can make up their own minds on what this shit is because I don't know how you describe it either. But that being said, I know I already called it a tincture from the appearance, but Tori, do you want to go ahead and give us a little bit visual description of the outside of the container that we're looking at?
Boy, yeah, certainly. And I'm not going to touch it because I'm going to get it all over your hands. And that's funny that this particular bottle was stained because every bottle of Gravy Masters I've ever seen in my life always has some brown stains in and around the label there. And of course, this one is no different. The bottle is quite small. It's 2 fluid ounces, maybe?
Sounds about right.
Yep,
Yeah,
2 fluid
it is
ounces.
awful tiny. You certainly couldn't lose this thing in the snow. It's a bright orange cap, bright orange label. Almost Home Depot orange, if you would.
Pretty
Bright
close.
safety OSHA orange.
Yeah.
You won't trip over it, just in case if you're concerned about it. Yeah,
Not to mention its size. I don't think you'd have to be pretty small to trip over.
a good point. Yeah, very good point. The labeling is maybe sort of looks a bit old-fashioned, possibly. I don't think that it's changed, at least from in the years I've been seeing it. My mother used this a great deal, so I'm familiar with this bottle, but I've never had it on its own.
Yeah, it says a good bet that label has not changed since it came out in 1935, I believe it says on there.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. The base of the bottle itself is a rounded square. It sort of pyramids up from there, maybe half, maybe a little bit more than half, squares off, and then nozzles out. And there's your brilliant bright orange lid on top.
I was trying to think what's the triangle with the 2 long sides and 1 short one's an isosceles.
Isosceles, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. It looks like an isosceles, prism with a rounded. It does go about 2/3 of the way up and then gets round, like you said there.
It's round, but the opening is still about the size of, I don't know, a pinky or, maybe a dime.
The opening is far too big, which I think goes back to Tori's point, was that this thing was in pristine condition for about the first 30 seconds of ownership, and it's the second we cracked it. I've washed it off 3 times in the sink now, and it still is leaking out the sides.
Yeah. I have my paper towel here just in case we have a Gravy Master emergency. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use this as a coaster for
Good
this
idea.
here. Because we appreciate coasters in this house.
I try to.
I know we do.
Try to keep services somewhat clean around here.
Yeah.
It is interesting about that. It's like I said, to me, it looks like a potion, like a little health potion from a video game, just the shape of the container.
No doubt.
It's not red or blue, but it does. It's like, I don't know. It looks like a tincture to me, It looks like something you find in an old-timey, like, apothecary or something. I find the bottle very charming. The application method, less so. It's troubled, to say the least.
The contents inside, too, aren't exactly leading towards, like you said, like a health potion or something.
No.
Like it's not glowing blue or, like, a bright red, like, health potion. It is,
Right.
It's kind of like, it's black.
Well, and when I first... when I first bought it and the container was full, I actually thought it was like a tinted brown thing because it was so dark, you know?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's a perfectly crystal clear container. It's just a very dark liquid. But do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit more about the inside of the item that we're looking at there, since we can't decide on if it's a sauce or a condiment or a dip or a flavoring?
Yeah, whatever this is. I like seasoning, flavoring. So it's very dark. And it's interesting because it's not actually opaque. Like, it is not. The liquid itself, once you like tilt it and get a little bit to cling onto the sides of the glass, it has a nice translucency to it. You can see through a fine film of it, and it looks like almost like a tinted window, you might say, you know?
I was thinking soy sauce.
And yeah, absolutely. It looks like soy sauce.
But it's thicker than that, you know, because soy sauce runs, I think, pretty easily. This like sticks to the side. It's almost like syrupy.
Right. I would say this is what it comes closest to is going to be a in-between soy sauce and Worcestershire, or closer to Worcestershire sauce. Because that has a little more thickness to it than...
I don't know that it has that much more thickness, though. I think soy sauce... I would have said soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce have the same, like, viscosity.
I was thinking sweet, sassy molasses, a little molasses for
Okay,
you.
now that I am with you on, because... And here's why, and I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, but I think there is, like, some sort of a sugar in there, like, thickening it up. Like a molasses has, where it kind of sticks to the sidewalls.
Oh, for sure. There's definitely some sugar in there. What does it say here? It says, America's enhancing recipes since 1935.
You put that word in there. That wasn't in there.
No, it's literally printed right on
It's a recipe enhancer is what it is.
It says a flavor enhancer.
Here's what I think the liquid looks like. And I don't know how much, this is something I had more exposure to. Probably you, Eric. Maybe not you as much, Tori. It used to be that when you went to get blood taken or get blood, give blood, they would swab your arm with iodine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually think this looks like a jar of iodine. That's what it looks like to me. They don't use that now. They use alcohol. But they used to use iodine for like 30 seconds on your arm, and it had kind of like that dark orangey color to it. And that's, I think this is like a very dark, to me, it looks orange. It just looks extremely dark. Dark brown, almost to black, but it's orange distinctly. Same as the Lin. You don't think it looks orange? Look at it from a distance here. You don't?
No,
think
I see what you're saying. Look at it through
look at it through the thing there.
Yeah, when it thins out, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, when it thins out, it becomes a brown,
orange
looking color that is close, maybe to the orange on the color wheel.
You made it 20 minutes.
You're seeing the orange on the cap, and your eyes are like.
You made it 20 minutes, and I'm fucking angry at you already.
You think it's orange.
You may think it's orange.
I don't think,
but you don't even know orange.
I don't think you're going to make it through the rest of the podcast. Eric.
Adam's just trying to wrap all his favorite, his favorite sauces always come back to orange coloration.
You've been a trying person recently, Eric, and you've become increasingly... You're not as fired up as last time we recorded, I will say that, but you've been increasingly a trying person lately. Oh, goodness.
Well, go ahead.
I do want you to kind of break this down, and this kind of goes into... Like we were mentioning, I still don't really think we know what to call this. I think seasoning is probably the closest. We also didn't really know, I had never used this before, never cooked with it. I've seen it before, but I didn't even know what it was. And to be honest with you, when I bought it, I thought it was like a concentrated gravy, like it was something you're supposed to make gravy with. That's what I thought it was. When I looked up a really quick recipe to see how you're supposed to use it, and it was like, oh, you like season your meat with it before you cook it, and I was like, okay, well, that doesn't seem like a gravy then. But you said your mom has used this pretty extensively, Tori.
Yeah. As far as I can remember, I can always remember that orange lid in the pantry. Always. And she cooked. I mean, growing up, she cooked every night, and it was always something different. So, yeah, she used a great deal of that. I told her about it before coming over here, and that's what she mentioned for your brown, your beef gravies, things like that.
My mom had one, or like when you brought up your mother using it cooking, I do distinctly remember having a little jar, actually might even be smaller than this, might have been like 1 ounce in our cupboard, that my mom, I don't even know if she maybe got it from somebody else or something. Like
a leftover bottle from someone.
Yeah, like a leftover bottle from my aunt or my grandmother or something, and she was like, oh, we'll use this and just use it up. But I think generally when we were making like hamburger patties by, pattying ourselves. Obviously, we had some filler in there because, we grew up a little poor, whatever. That's life. We throw in breadcrumbs and we'd throw in usually Worcestershire. sauce, or
I hope some
or
British
straight up
person comes on and
molasses.
like corrects me. It's like, no, I can't do a British accent, but it just tells me
Just
that's
tells you it's
totally
wrong.
fucking wrong. Yeah.
You're probably right.
I'm very sure I'm correct. But
Yeah. It's one of those words like aluminum for some people. Like I can say aluminum, but I know some people screw it up all the time.
say aluminium.
Yeah, or as they say aluminium, which isn't that bad, I guess. But
That's actually
That's
how it's
another
spelled.
yeah,
British
it's
thing,
how it's
yeah.
spelled. It's the British way of saying it, although they also have a different product over there. It's a tin based. I forget what it's called now.
Huh?
Yeah, it's more tin based. It's not aluminum. It's like it has some other name. I remember seeing it on YouTube
Okay.
videos. Anyways, where's I going with that? Oh yeah, we always put right into the meat as you're mixing it, and then patty up our hamburgers and then cook it on the grill, and just flavor enhancing essentially right there with using other stuff, not this
Nice.
gravy master.
I think it's interesting that you mentioned that because I do think also, I think my mom had a container of this as well, but it was like in with the spices, and it was the front of it was so covered in the brown sauce stuff that you couldn't actually like see what it said on there. So I never really had any idea what it was. And my mom was not one to like over season food at all. I would say she would err on the side of being bland, whereas I tend to be very bold on my seasonings.
Yeah, my mom would tend to be the same way when she was cooking.
And so I think that if you just put a little dollop of this on there, you'd never even know it was there, really. Like, we really had to dump it on what we tried tonight, which we'll get into to really get a good tasting. But I do think she had this. It was just I couldn't actually read it. I do remember the container distinctly, just so covered in that brown liquid that spills everywhere that I didn't actually know that's what it was. Which kind of leads us into what we tasted it on tonight. Again, I didn't really know what to try this on, but in our ongoing efforts to be a little bit more diverse in our tasting articles, we picked up a few items a few months ago, and one of the things we picked up was some steakums. So why don't you go ahead and tell us how you prepared those for us, Eric?
So I've actually never cooked steakums in my life,
Oh, wow.
but I read the back of the package.
That
and-
seems like something right up your alley.
right.
It really does seem like something that would be like a staple for you.
Yeah, again, something we never had really growing up. Something my parents never really cooked in the household. So
They keep forever. You just throw them in the freezer.
just store them in the freezer. Hey, it was actually quite easy to cook up, and
Yes.
they were actually pretty tasty too.
Yes,
So
they're good. I mean, that is legitimately
you
like,
kind of made me a fan of them.
yeah, that's why I'm surprised. It seems like something that would be right up your alley. And
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying, literally,
They're dangerous good.
they're good. Not good
I've
for
been
you at
to
all.
Right, yeah.
right. I've had a
Loaded with
Philly
trans fats.
cheesesteak. Right. I've seen the big what is it called, flat top cookers,
Yeah.
and you walk in like we were just talking about Pepe's here in
Yep,
sure.
Pittsburgh is a very well known
Excellent restaurant.
restaurant
One in Northside is the best
steakhouse
one.
Oh, yeah.
steakum kind of style. Thinly chopped.
They're a little better than
Beef.
steakums. But
Okay, they're
yeah,
better than
I get your
steakums,
point.
but yeah,
though.
yeah.
I saw them
Anyways.
take them out of the box. Steakums. No, they don't do that.
So no, they don't. Definitely don't.
It's definitely fresher beef.
Yeah, and thicker too, thicker sliced. Anyways, but yeah, I put them in a saucepan with a little bit of cooking oil, and I just heat it on medium.
It definitely didn't need the oil. I will say
Well,
that.
what it said on the back of the box.
Yeah, definitely did not need the oil, dude. They provide that on their own in spades.
I do wish I had a bigger pan or like a whole cooktop, because it'd be nice to have laid out like all 14 that I cooked up.
Oh, Jesus.
Did
Did you cook the whole
evenly.
box?
No. It says 14 servings, but it was interesting because each.
That's the one thing. They're not as cheap as you would think they would be based on how they taste.
I only cooked about half the box, and
All right.
it had these wrapper pieces, these like wax paper dividers, right?
Right, you don't cook
Between
those.
each slab. I wasn't cooking them, but I thought it was interesting.
Save them
'cause
for
it was-
later to make fire starters out of.
It was between the first one and the second one, and then it started being two per
Right.
every single one.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's weird. They actually have two slices
I think that's pretty
stuck
common.
together.
That's
in
pretty
between,
common.
so-
You see that a lot with hamburgers and stuff too. So you don't have to.
Well, there was no way I was going to separate the two that were stuck together. They just went into the pan together because they were frozen. And
You did put the wax paper in the pan then.
no, there was no
Oh, okay.
wax paper between them. That's what was weird.
Oh, I see what you're
It
saying.
was
I thought you were
divided
saying
by
the wax
one.
paper was doubled up.
No,
Oh,
there was
okay.
missing wax paper.
All right, okay.
What I would expect. It was one, and there was two. I'm like,
Oh,
whatever.
I
So
think it is supposed to be like two butted up against each other.
okay, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they cooked up nicely. They did say multiple times on the back, "Do not overcook," which I I don't think I did. I don't know.
They get crunchy if you overcook them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they get kind of like tough and crunchy. They're not bad. It's a different thing, you know.
Different
I've
texture
definitely
to
done it. I like a little bit of crunch.
I thought I did a decent job cooking them up tonight.
Which reminds me, one time I had this. I know this is another sidetrack here, but I had this girlfriend one time who was not very good at cooking. She didn't cook at all, actually, as a matter of fact. And she wanted to make me breakfast. She wanted to make me some bacon for breakfast. She got out a nonstick cooking pan. She heated it up, probably hotter than she should have. You know, probably Teflon was going into the air and giving me cancer. She then put a liberal amount of like olive oil in the pan and then started putting the bacon in. I was like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, these things are going to be swimming in grease. You know, I'm like, you do not need to put. Oh, and then I took over cooking. And I think she went in the couch and cried. Yeah, there was a number of those incidences where she was attempting to cook, and I don't think I was too mean, but I was definitely like stern. Like, no.
Yeah, that's funny because bacon will definitely swim in its own grease, no problem. So
will steakums.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they would have. I don't know. I just put in a spray. Anyways, then I also poured some of this Gravy Master on it while it was cooking.
How much did you put on first time, just out of curiosity?
Oh, I'd say about 2 to 3 tablespoons or teaspoons. So about a tablespoon, probably.
A dollop
on there. A dollop.
All right. Not very much at all, then.
No, I wouldn't say not a whole lot. I mean,
I did tell you when I gave it to you. I said I don't know how strong this is. I've never cooked with this, and so I did.
That made 3 of us.
Advise you to go a little bit on the safe side.
Right. None of us have really cooked with it. We've tried to take it a little bit easy. We ended up portioning it out into thirds, and we all quickly decided that was not enough.
Yeah, you really, I mean, we probably, if you had them side by side, we may have been able to detect a little bit of difference in flavor there, which I do think you used it correctly. Like, I don't think you're supposed to pour it on. I mean, we used half this bottle on 3 servings, and
small servings.
I mean, I poured it on until it was like the meat itself was almost like dark black from the color.
Yeah, it was noticeable.
And it was, that was, I don't know, it seemed like you
definitely got flavor after that. You definitely got it.
Flavor.
And I don't think it was too much either, like for me at least. And we'll get into that with tasting notes more, but
even we have the website brought up here, and there's a picture of 3 pieces of steak, and now granted they've been cooked on a flat iron or like a rippled cast iron. So it's got these like grill marks on them, but the meat definitely looks darkened, you know, like it's not, I don't think we were that far off from giving them a nice coating before you grill them or something.
Yes, but to bear in mind though, that is a whole like piece
marinated
of steak,
recipe,
you know, I think it's marinated from the outside, whereas ours was, you know, finely diced or in like strips, you know, so.
Sure.
But that being said, That's
interesting. They put on corn?
I could see that being good on corn. We're looking at some recipes on the website for the listeners here. They've got, what is that, a grilled corn on the cob. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, they've got all kinds of interesting things on the website. They've got a drink.
Wow.
What is that? What does that say?
The Michelada?
Yeah.
Huh, let's look at the drink recipe. Shit, I guess you're exempted from having to do a recipes tonight, Eric. What do we say here? What's this got? Beer! Mexican lager beer. Clamato juice. Jesus Christ. Hot sauce. 1 tablespoon Gravy Master. Teaspoon. 1 teaspoon Worcestershire. Juice of 1 lime. Tahine seasoning. And fresh sliced jalapenos. This is like a Mexican Bloody Mary, but made with beer and has great. This is some bizarre shit. It might be good.
I think I'd give that a shot. I would try it.
Of course you would.
I don't like Bloody Marys though.
I don't like Bloody Marys.
This sounds too close to that with the beer. But I have heard of beer and Clamato juice being mixed before. I know that's like an old timer thing to do.
And of course, I'm a huge fan of that Talon seasoning or
tahine or whatever.
Tahine, yeah.
I don't know how you say it either, but I think that's Mexican. You know.
Yeah, tahine. I think
that would make sense. So. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our tasting notes. Which of you would like to lead us off?
Tori, lead us off tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Okay. We can do that. Yeah, I didn't get any of the flavor once E put the master directly on the meat. Or if it was there, I didn't get much of anything.
The initial one, you mean?
Yeah, the initial tasting. It's not until I tasted anything is when we sort of dumped it on. And even at that, it was noticeable, but I didn't think it was noticeable given the fact that it's coming out of a 2-ounce jar.
Right.
I thought the flavor was far too subtle for the amount. I mean, here it is now. we're 3 servings in, have half a bottle crushed. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much that bottle cost, but
I think it was a few bucks. I want to say it was like $3 or $4 for that little jar, that tiny little jar.
Yeah, I mean, to me that doesn't seem particularly worth it. And what I find to be an even more of a quandary is because that we dumped it on. I mean, we dumped on a great deal. I think percentage-wise, a large amount of this out of this bottle.
Yes.
And if we were to use it to replace a beef bouillon cube or grill it or throw it in with beer and other goofy shit, I think it'll get lost easily.
Well, I think you're definitely right about that. And I do think this is supposed to be more of like a supporting thing. I don't definitely think it's not supposed to be like a primary flavor like we were going for.
Yeah, I mean, but the point I'm making is, I mean, I don't know. It's just not enough bang for your buck. And yeah, I mean, I don't even think it really would do all that well as a supporting. And I know I've had it in the past. I'm certain I've had it a million times. I know that. Maybe I just don't know what it was in. Right? I don't know. I don't know right. But yeah, for this particular tasting, maybe when they're not given the credit it deserves. I know the ratings are off base. But yeah, I didn't, for the amount we put on in relation to how much is in the bottle to begin with and the amount of flavor coming out of it, I wasn't particularly impressed.
But what were your actual like flavors you were getting out of it?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. You mentioned the sweetness, the sweet sassy molassie. Undoubtedly, that was there. And I didn't really get too much out else. I didn't get any smokiness. I didn't get any particularly like meaty, how would you say it? Umami.
Okay.
Yeah. How about that? Watching some cooking shows. But yeah, I mean, I just got I just got a sweetness really. And sort of maybe a malted, maybe type of feel to it.
Yeah, I can see it.
That's about the extent.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like eating it. Not you're not saying malt vinegar. You're just saying like a malt.
It's like malt,
malted,
a malt milkshake kind of, like a grain taste. I think that's what
grainy
malt. Which I'll jump right in here. To be honest with you, I got that too, but that's where I kind of was getting that like umami taste from. I got actually a lot of umami. To me, this was like an umami bomb. I thought the closest thing I could think to describe it as would be if you took like soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce and some sugar, or maybe even like a honey or something like that, and kind of mix that together. I think that's probably your closest thing. I definitely got sweetness, not overpowering sweetness, definitely more on the savory side. And I definitely, I just had some soy sauce yesterday, so that's like straight in my mind. I definitely thought I tasted soy sauce in this, but also kind of more of those like, I don't know, a little more complex than that with the Worcestershire in there. You know, I definitely thought I got both of those. And I actually really liked it. The only thing that was really throwing me off was the name. Because to me, you know, I was thinking, okay, Gravy Master. This is something you used to make gravy with, or you put it in gravies. And as a meat seasoning, I don't really quite get that. I could definitely see like a classic way you make gravies. You take the meat, you cook the meat in the pan, and then use the drippings from the pan to make the gravy. So I could see it in that regard, you know, kind of coming around. But like you said, Tori, at that point, is the flavor almost not so washed out? You're really not getting a whole lot from it that way. But no, I definitely liked it. The only thing I would say is that the Gravy Master thing I don't understand. It was much more in line with how I picture like a teriyaki. Like that was actually what I thought it was much, much closer to. It was like an Asian teriyaki flavor with the sweetness, the soy sauce, the Worcestershire sauce, you know. That I got like spot on. I would have said this is like a teriyaki base or something if you would have given it to me blind taste test. What about you, Eric?
That's an interesting comparison. And when I think teriyaki, I think more like onion and garlic and a little bit of like something with a little bit of spice in it too, where that's lacking from this. I agreed with.
I don't think teriyaki normally has spice in it though, right? I think you're thinking like maybe like a teriyaki dish. I'm talking about just the sauce.
Just the sauce itself. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'm not sure what's in just the sauce itself. I think that's maybe.
How does it compare to General Tso's?
You knew that was. You knew it.
It's so spicy. General Tso's is the spiciest. Okay,
yeah, this is nowhere near General Tso's. That's for sure. No, I think everything you guys were saying are definitely I'm in line with. I think my most the most tasting notes I got, I was going to say it's equal parts salt and equal parts sweetness, and it's done in a way that they don't overpower each other. They just enhance. They do exactly what it's supposed to do.
Well, salt is...
I just rolled my eyes for listeners. I know you can't see that, but I rolled them.
You couldn't hear the retina snapping.
You practically could hear that as they made their way around my skull. Holy shit. Salt is a flavor enhancer.
But there's no doubt about it. I think Tori really hits the ballpoint on the nose, or whatever we like to say.
There's a new one. You butchered the shit out of that.
Hits the ballpoint on the nose. He hit a home ballpoint.
Home ballpoint. There we go.
Touchdown.
I like that. Anyways, it's there's a lot of ways to create the same flavor for a whole lot cheaper with ingredients you already have in your cupboard, probably.
Yeah, fair.
I think that's very fair.
I think that's really good, because if you think like you can get generic soy sauce and generic Worcestershire sauce for like $2 each
or less, yeah.
Sugar for next to nothing essentially.
Right.
Which I think you're right about that, definitely.
Yeah.
That was my whole point. Now good Worcestershire sauce, Lee & Perrins, you're running like more like $6, but still you can make a gigantic quantity of that.
Right. It's such a small bottle, costs quite a bit. So I think I do think you brought up a valid point there, Tori. That's something I wasn't considering initially. So
cost wise, you mean?
Yeah, the cost.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The cost
that's going to factor into my rating
for
too,
what
actually.
you're getting, unfortunately here. And I do think we maybe missed out slightly on an opportunity to really have this on a grill.
Don't say steak, or I'm going to hit you.
I wasn't going to say steak.
Okay.
That would be the perfect. That would be the meat to put it on, wouldn't it?
Eric always wants us to do like a 5-course meal to taste the sauce on, which drives me bonkers.
Always.
You want to put it on vanilla
We really
ice
need to
cream.
try this on a filet mignon to really be able to tell if it is the Gravy Master, or if it's just a Gravy Mister.
Wow. So where I was really going with this was just that if you had that open flame or that extra punch of heat that actually adds to the charredness and caramelization of this Gravy Master, what kind of notes might come out from it that we are missing out on?
Reasonable. That's fair.
Okay. I mean, that's an interesting point. And I know we've already said this 10 times. My thing is, I do think that, you remember how we did the Korean barbecue? I think this would be a really good way to do that, would just be to pour it on, 6 pounds of meat like that, like we did. But coming back to Tori's point, you would need about 10 of these to cover 6 pounds of meat. This is not nearly enough. I mean, that Korean barbecue thing came in like an industrial sized container. I still had some left. This, man, you would take, I think that was like I don't know, at least a 32 ounce container of that Korean barbecue sauce.
They
You'd
sell
need
it.
like 16 of these things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how that would go. That would be my only hold up against doing something like that to grill, because in order to get the flavor, which I liked a lot, you really had to marinate the stuff in it. And I think in order to get it fully saturated into a whole meat like that without being cut up, you'd go through a lot of this. That's my only point.
Oh yeah.
No, for sure.
It'd burn right up.
And like you said too, I think this is, even looking on their website, I think it's a lot of it's used in conjunction with or making a sauce, or it's definitely
sparingly.
It's used sparingly and really meant to be cooked with other flavors, not meant to really stand on its own. It's more of definitely a supportive kind of thing.
It is good though. I mean, but like you said, they're calling out stuff in measurements of teaspoons, and we use solidly half the bottle right here. So
yeah, I don't know what the conversion is of tablespoons to ounces. It's going to drive me nuts. I think it's
going to drive you nuts.
Really? Tablespoons or teaspoons?
Tablespoons. I know it's 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon.
I want to say it's 4 tablespoons to an ounce, but I could be wrong.
4 tablespoons to an ounce. That, I don't know. It
seems
almost heavy, because
could be wrong about that.
If this is only 2 ounces, do we think we used 4 tablespoons?
I thought it was 4 teaspoons to a tablespoon and 4 tablespoons to an ounce. We'll look this up for the show notes, and we'll see how.
We'll try and be more educated in the future.
Tori's bored as hell. We spent 10 seconds discussing math, and Tori's nodding off.
It's going to drive you guys crazy.
10
I'm
seconds.
sure. Look, it's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy already.
Tori spent longer complaining about it than it took us to discuss it. But without further ado, before we lose Tori entirely, why don't you go ahead and roll on to the ingredients there, Eric?
Okay.
And I'll look up the conversions right now.
There you go. Hate for it to drive you crazy.
I have them plastered on the side of my fridge. I just haven't memorized them all. Look around the corner there. All right, ingredients for this amazing, or not so amazing, depending on where we'll get to our actual ratings here eventually. Ingredients for this is for Gravy Master. We have caramelized sugar, caramel color, water, hydrolyzed soy.
Hydrolyzed soy. So maybe that is like a soy sauce type thing.
Oh, absolutely. And corn protein. Apple cider vinegar, salt, spices, which include onion, celery, parsley, and garlic.
Huh.
Holy shit.
Well,
all the things I said I wasn't
sauce.
tasting. Yeah, there's your teriyaki sauce.
When you said that was throwing me off, because I thought I kind of get those a little bit, which, like I said, to me, it was like straight up teriyaki concentrate, Except for teriyaki is usually a little bit thicker than that.
Yeah, I would say so, usually.
Okay, so in another 5 seconds, really quick here, there are exactly 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon and exactly 2 tablespoons to an ounce. Okay, we're done.
Okay.
Woof. Okay,
Wow.
Tori, almost lost Tori again. So,
Oh, boy,
So
I feel better now.
So we
For
only
listeners-
used 2 tablespoons, which means... Well, I probably used it even more sparingly than I thought when I was cooking with it. Because if I said I thought I put a tablespoon on it, then we all poured a liberal amount on top
Right.
of it, and we only used half the jar.
jars like
Obviously.
that are deceiving, though, for how much you actually use because of the way it's shaped, so it's hard to really estimate. But
True.
yeah, we definitely didn't use very much to begin with, and we still, I don't think used that much. But no, that's interesting. The ingredients, I don't know. There was nothing on there that really surprised me. Like, I think that made sense.
No, flavor-wise, it really did make sense. I wish I'd gotten more of of those, celery and onion and garlic. I kind of was, like I said,
Yeah.
I just feel like it wasn't quite enough there.
I thought I got them, but like you mentioned, kind of like the quantity that we had to put on there to get those didn't really make a lot of sense with what they're calling out for a recipe. I do think this would be something that would be benefited from being a lot thicker. It is thicker than like a soy sauce, definitely, but I definitely think if it was almost more like a molasses in texture, you'd be able to use a lot less and have a lot more effect from it.
You'd be able to brush it on better, too. It would cling better to the meat, especially when
Right.
you're grilling it and whatnot. I
Yeah.
feel like if you're trying to grill with this, it would just drip right over the meat and right into the bottom of your grill.
Right, well, like I said, I think you would almost have to marinate it, but like I said, it's almost not enough to marinate with either. So that's kind of like throwing me off a little bit. I could see it like you would say, mix it into a hamburger or something like that. I could see that being pretty good. But no, I do definitely think, it could benefit a lot from being, a lot thicker, and I definitely think it could benefit from being in a bigger bottle. The only other thing I wanted to kind of mention was that I think one, like, sleeper use for this that I didn't see on the recipes earlier, I think this would really be a way to amp up a chili. I think
Okay.
that would be a hell of a secret ingredient to really kick a chili up a notch. Now, I do think you would have to use the entire bottle in a
Yeah.
batch of chili.
You'd have to use quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
But I do think that would be a good, and I usually do put some Worcestershire and some soy sauce into chili.
Yeah, so do I. And, of course, lots of garlic powder.
And usually some sugar too.
Lots of garlic powder, yeah, some sugar, and then plenty of onion powder and straight up onions. I mean, I throw in the seasonings plus all the, as much as I like a good thick chili.
I put in a lot of chili powder. I put in a whole jar of chili powder because I love chili powder. It's
I
my
do.
favorite thing.
You like chili powder that much, E?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
He said on half the episodes how much he loves chili powder. Half
Oh.
of his things have involved chili powder.
Yeah,
He's
if I make a pot of chili, I probably put in about almost a quarter cup of chili powder.
Get out of town.
chili powder is
Oh.
to Eric as smoked paprika is to me. You boys know how much I love smoked paprika.
Yeah, you really got a thing for it.
Oh, I hammer on that shit. I love it.
Hmm.
Okay, well, all that being said, I think it's about time that we go ahead and I think we can safely move on to the ratings portion of the show.
Well, real quick, just on that chili powder thing.
Okay, let's wheel back. What, Eric?
Rewind.
Tell us about,
Yeah.
sell us on chili powder some more.
No, what was that seasoning that was in that drink? The tahine?
Yeah. It's like a Mexican, like,
it's
lime.
exactly. Have you ever had the tahine powder on like mangoes?
Negative.
Where like it's
I've heard that's good.
encrusted? It's super good. I just want to put that out there.
I can
'Cause
see
that
that.
recipe
It's the
is-
same thing as like putting salt on a watermelon or something. You put the salt and
Yeah,
it's
but salt and
a
chili
flavor
powder.
enhancer.
It's chili powder. It's red. It looks like red crusted.
It's a lot of sodium. It's like salt and MSG and a little bit of chili powder, and then also like some crystallized lime.
I don't know. I think you'd be surprised at how much chili powder's in that.
I
But,
think
all
you
right.
would be surprised. Okay, we're gonna get. Do you have
Another
some?
hard
We'll get
stance.
the ingredients.
Oh,
Do you have
shit.
some in your cupboard
I
right now,
don't.
Eric?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll look it up online.
Oh,
Sorry.
shit.
Tori will fall asleep. We're gonna look up tahini ingredients.
Oh, no. Yeah, this is good. I like this.
Us arguing about different other seasonings.
Tahine.
Tahine Classico. 1 out of 4 peppers.
Yeah, it's not super hot.
I'm not seeing ingredients on the ingredients on the website are pretty basic. I want to find like technical ingredients. Let's look at a copycat recipe here and see. Is this a copycat here? It's a copycat, right?
Looks like it, maybe.
Maybe.
There we go. Paprika
For making
powder.
your own tahine at home, you'll need a tablespoon of paprika powder or red chili powder. A tablespoon.
1 tablespoon.
1 teaspoon of dried lime zest. Half a teaspoon of ground cumin. 1/4 teaspoon of garlic, onion, coriander, salt, cayenne pepper powder, and 1/8 sugar.
So basically it's a 3-to-1 compared to all the other ingredients, because there's 3 teaspoons per tablespoon, as you just said.
Yeah, but they're saying paprika, dude. They're saying paprika or chili powder. I mean, paprika is, well, like we discussed before, a lot of people get confused and think paprika is a food coloring more so than it's actually a flavor. So I don't know about that, man. I'm still not totally sold. I definitely think, and I think this is a whack recipe. I don't think that's right either, because there's
It's a
definitely
whack
salt
recipe.
in there.
Wow, yeah, of course.
There's definitely a ton of salt. No, there is legitimately salt in that. You know that, Eric. You
Yeah,
know
I
that's
know there's
true.
salt.
Okay.
It said there's salt.
Oh, okay.
A little bit.
There's salt in MSG, I think, in the normal one. If you get, well, I have some at home. We'll do
We're going to do
a
follow-up.
soft spoken rewind on this. All right, let's go ahead and get around to our ratings, please.
Okay.
Please.
Who's going to go first? Okay, now hold on a second. Should I make Eric write down his rating? He sabotaged us last episode, so I'm trying to decide if I should make
I
him
did not sabotage.
write it down. He sabotaged us, so he's definitely going to go first. I'm trying to decide.
Definite sabotage.
We'll make him go first so he can't sabotage it. Because he passed off to you last time. You and I both were in perfect agreement from the get-go, and he
The
sabotaged us.
crazy mayo episode. I still
Yeah.
can't believe it. I can't believe it.
And that was a little put on.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Did you happen to... There's a little Easter egg at the end of that episode. Did you happen to listen to that episode yet, Eric?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, there's a little Easter egg at the end of that one. I've been putting a lot of Easter eggs in lately, so probably people have been missing those, but...
Easter eggs. Love it.
Well, you're going first, so you don't have to write it down
Okay.
now if you're going first. It's only if you're going last I'll make you write it down so you can't sabotage us.
So this is a tough one for me because, like you were saying, Adam, the flavors are all things I like, but I do feel like you're not getting your value out of it. And that being said, I think this has to come in about just under the median. I think a 4.5 is a fair rating for it. It's not that's bad.
Wow!
It's fair. You know, it's
Dude, you're being mean recently. You used to be like rooting for the underdogs, and now you're like dropping the hammer.
not dropping a hammer. I think
Yeah,
a
you
4.5 is a very fair rating.
You
I
think
think
4.5?
I think unfortunately, like it has good flavor to it, but it can be achieved by so many other things and done better. It's just there's things that have done this same flavor. You were saying a teriyaki sauce is very similar and tastes yet better. It has just more punch to it.
I do
And
think,
the amount
though-
that you have to use on top of, maybe the application wasn't, like I said, maybe if we had grilled it, got a little char to it, maybe got a little extra caramelization on top of it. I think it's interesting that it has, what did it say? It said like caramel color and caramelized sugar as like the two first ingredients. It's liquid sugar with a little bit of spices. I don't know. It just didn't hit
Last
it for
episode, your
me.
complaint was that the mayo wasn't sweet enough for you to give it a higher rating, and this one was sweeter, and you gave it a lower rating.
It's not just
You
sweetness.
change your recipe. You
wasn't.
change your rating scale.
I
every
did
single
not
week.
say sweetness. I said
Yes,
the
you
mayo.
did. I said last week. I said,
Oh,
what would
boy.
make this better for you? I said, would you like it better? You said, oh, I like that chocolate one. I said, so if this was loaded with fucking sugar, would you like that better? And you said, yes, I probably would like the mayo better loaded with sugar. Don't deny it, because we're recording this on a Monday a little bit extra in advance, and I only edited that episode yesterday, so it's still fresh in my mind, where you said all it would have needed with a higher rating would have been some extra sugar.
It's an extra flavor as well.
No, you said sugar! I
You
said it
said
specifically!
You said sugar,
Oh
and I
my
just
God.
agreed with you as like extra flavor, extra something.
If the
I
salt
didn't-
in this
if you
hadn't
had
raised
said
my
salt.
blood sugar, then you certainly did. I can
If
say
you
that.
said salt, if you said lime
Oh
juice,
my
if you
God.
said chili powder in that mayo, sure, absolutely, or chipotle.
Chili powder.
Sure.
Chili
Throw some
powder.
Chipotle in there. I
You
would have
love
said
chili
absolutely.
powder. We're gonna review chili powder next week. That's what we're gonna do.
We're just gonna get out little mirrors and just
We're
little,
just gonna
little
put
straws.
enough water in it to make it a liquid, and it's gonna be chili powder.
Oh.
Oh wow, 11 out of 11 chili powder.
So 4.5 is my rating for this Gravy Master. Tori,
I
take it
legitimately
away.
hate you, Eric.
Wow.
I'm
Whoa.
gonna go on the record with it.
Wow. I am afraid to say anything because
You should be. I'm fired up already.
you took the words right out of my mouth, man.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you're so concerned about him sabotaging it. Dude, I think Gravy Masters sabotaged themselves. I don't know if the application wasn't right. Don't get me wrong. I'm open to trying it again, maybe in a grilling sense or something like this. I would absolutely be open to trying it again, but I don't think that putting it on steakums probably not the best way to do it. I don't know.
Now that is fair.
I mean, I'm not a Michelin. I'm not a Michelin chef, but hey, I'm grading it with what's in front of me. I can't. I'm keep tripping over the size of the bottle in relation to the price, in relation to the level of the flavor,
Yep.
and the value of the flavor. I can't stop tripping over that. So to that end, I have to give this bottle of Gravy Master a 4.
Wow.
I have
Well,
to.
no, see, here's the thing. I'm not going to be mad about that, and here's the reason why.
Because it wasn't me.
No, I have a we mentioned this earlier. I kind of sometimes wished we started recording the podcast earlier. Like, I know the listeners, well, most of the listeners don't want to hear us chew into the microphones. There's probably a small subset of listeners that would be very interested in that, but I think most don't. So we usually get some discussion, and I was saying we need to start recording earlier because sometimes we lose really good discussion before the podcast starts recording. But here's the thing. When we were tasting this earlier, right off the bat, Tori, I could tell you weren't feeling it. You know what I mean? And that's my thing. Like, I wasn't that surprised by you giving it a 4 because I could tell you're like, yeah, I don't know about this stuff. Eric loved it. He was going ham on that. Eric put more than I did on there, and he was like,
that was by accident.
For it. And the only reason he didn't lick the plate clean was because he knew I was going to make fun of him for it. That's literally the
all
only
eyes on you.
He scrapped every last little portion.
Why
of his
would
mouth,
I care? Why would I start caring now?
Yum, 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 yum. And
If
he
it
was like
that
pouring
good,
it into his mouth. I could tell he wanted to do like another shooter of this stuff.
If it was that good, I would have licked the plate.
And
Adam.
that's the thing, is that I watched him earlier just gobble this like he hadn't eaten in weeks. He was so thrilled to eat this, and he clearly loved the flavor.
It was dinner for you.
So for him to come in
dinner,
with a 4.5, that is where I'm getting a little bit upset about, because I don't think that's fair. He clearly loved this. He enjoyed the hell out of it. Now, part of that might have been the steakums that he's not familiar with.
I'm not familiar
They're
with
also
it
pretty
all.
good.
They're pretty good too.
They're good.
But to me, Tori, you'd had this before, and you'd expressed that you like it. So to me, I could see the visible like discontent in your eyes when you tried on the steakums. A 4 is in line with that, I think. A 4.5 on Eric, who clearly was thrilled with it. That's what's throwing me off.
I'm just working on my poker game. I just like throwing you off.
Wow.
Adam's over there.
Eric is trying to sabotage the podcast. That's what he is trying to do. He is like, he's totally just he's stopped reviewing the sauces based on what they are, and he started reviewing them based on how he can make me the most angry. That is what he's that is what he's doing.
Random number generator.
He won't be released from the podcast on his own, so now he's hoping that we kick him out by sabotaging it. That's what he's doing with making me angry.
Yeah, man. I think it's a 4.
Piece of shit.
I mean, and to be very, very honest with you, I mean, you go out and buy a 2 fluid ounce bottle of this. You're not going to make racks of ribs. I mean, to that whole point, you're going to need 2-3 bottles of it. I don't know, man. I know it's been around for a million years, and maybe there's something to it that I don't know, but I think it's a huge swing and a miss.
I feel like it's a swing and a soft hit. Like, okay, they hit some flavors. They just didn't punch out of the ballpark, and they didn't make some way that it could be...
Punch it out of the ball point?
Exactly, out of the ball point.
Right.
And it couldn't be, adequately applied. I think it's funny. Like, so even when I wrote down that number, I wrote down a 5.5. But then the more I talked about it, the more I thought about it, the more I realized it wouldn't be fair to catch up. I was like, you know what? I have to put this down a little bit lower, and because of the cost and everything else. So you know what? I used my discretionary point there that Adam loves to bring up, and I dropped it down to a 4.5. All
right.
Go ahead, Adam.
All right.
What's your rating?
I was wondering if I was going to get a chance. So now here's the thing for me. I'm going to come in with a 7. And I was going to give it a 7.5. If I would have written it down before we started, I would have written down a 7.5. And you guys did make I had some valid points in my mind already, because I actually used 2 whole discretionary points on this. Actually, I used 4.
2 of them.
I actually used 4 half discretionary points on this, because I started off flavor-wise at a 9. I really like this, actually, flavor-wise. I deducted half a point for the value. I think it's a poor value for the size. I deducted half a point for... I think it, the denseness of this, I think it should have been more concentrated. I think it should have been like a thicker, almost like a syrupy type thing, just for application, which leads me into my next point was the bottle design. As much as I love it aesthetically, it was terrible to pour out of. I mean, it's guaranteed to make a gigantic mess. And even if you want to look at it as like a marketing thing, like, oh, hey, they're going to have to buy more because they poured half down the side of the frickin' bottle. Okay, I get that. But on the other hand, too, you're not going to remember to buy more because you're going to look at the label and say, oh, I need more of this thing. What is it? Oh, it's brown covering the entire front of it. I don't know what this is I need more of. So I took away a half a discretionary point for each of those 3 items. And then the fourth thing was, again, even if you could see it with the name being covered in the brown sauce, what does the name even mean? Like we said earlier, What is Gravy Master in this application? I don't think you're using it to make gravy. I didn't see any recipes they had on there for gravy. Why is it Gravy Master? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
now,
that's for sure.
If they marketed this as like, if they marketed it as like a teriyaki base, or if they marketed it as like, a meat marinade or something like that, that would make a whole lot more sense to me. I don't get the naming convention at all. Gravy Master doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if I saw it on a shelf in a grocery store, I would walk right past it. I'd go, Gravy Master, okay, something for gravy. I'm not a huge...
Exactly. I love gravy, but I would look at this and I would think, I'm not going to make gravy with this. That's what I would think. I would think it's for making gravy. That's what I thought it was for when I bought it. You would have to know this was like some kind of a meat marinade in advance. So those 4 things, I'm knocking it down to a 7. From, like I said, purely on a flavor aspect, I think 9. I really like it. So again,
bringing up your my ratings are so out of whack. I gave the Korean barbecue, I think, an 8.5.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
All right.
And there's exactly one of the things that you brought up, and you mentioned that sauce, and I loved it. I loved it so much, and I was like, it's so much better than this. How could I even give this even? Why would I wouldn't certainly entertain a 9 out of it. I thought that Korean barbecue sauce was 10 times better than this.
Really?
So, and that
you thought it was 10 times better than this?
Okay, it might be slightly exaggerating. At least twice as better, though.
I thought the Korean barbecue sauce was good, just because it was kind of like taking more of like a hard stance like we like to do. But, I mean, I think you can make a solid case for this, kind of like the Duke's Mayo. It's not nearly that good, but I think you can make a solid stance for it in terms of being like, well-rounded, best supporting actor type of thing. You could put this in a lot of things to kind of boost the flavor a little bit.
And you can. There's no doubt about it. It will enhance. It has universal use, I would say, to a certain degree, if you know what Gravy Master is used for, or supposed to be used for. If you have that knowledge.
And you have enough of it laying around.
And you have enough of it laying around, exactly, to amp the flavor of something, it certainly could be used.
You know what? I'm changing my rating. I'm going to give it back a half a discretionary point. I'm going to go back to my original 7.5 because of that point you just made, which is that we tried it on Steakums. This is certainly not. I mean, now they're not helping you at all. They don't even put instructions on the bottle on what you should do it on. But I do think it would have been better if we put this on a steak or a pork loin or something or even chicken, something like that, and grilled it. I think if we had tried it on something like that, it would have been better than Steakums. So I'm going back. Well, a lot of discretionary points this episode.
And do you think cooking with it more would have added to the flavor? A little more caramelization, a little more heating it up? Do you like pouring it on afterwards?
I do think the best way to apply this is heavy, like a marinade or something like that. I think you're going to use a whole freaking bottle if you do. But
no question.
But I do think it would be really good as a marinade, especially for something that's kind of bland already, like chicken maybe, and then grill it. And then if you had it so it was a little bit toned down on something that's blander like a chicken, I really think that would be... I think it'd be excellent, to be honest with you.
I don't think that's their intent, though. Like, if we went back to their website, I don't think they're saying to use this solely as a marinade. Like, it is a supportive kind of thing, and to try and use it as such just to validate that, it tastes really good in large quantities. Like, okay, want tablespoons of sugar too? How would you rate that?
Well, probably decent.
I know you would.
Yeah, you would rate it 10 out of 10. So.
Yeah, sugar does exactly what it's meant to be. If we were tasting sugar, I'd say, well...
Don't even start evaluating things like that, because you literally change your rating thing like every single episode on how you're going to rate something. And it's always whatever way pisses me off most.
That's not my intention at all.
You liked this a lot earlier. Yes or no? When we tried it earlier on the Steakums, you liked it a lot.
I thought it was good on the Steakums. I thought it was tasty. I thought it... when I poured on the extra amount, I said, "Oh wow, this really did make it better tasty."
You liked it. Yes, you did.
Yeah, I like ketchup. Ketchup's a 5. I think a 4.5 is a very fair rating.
Okay, you're dead to me, but that's fine. All right. Well, man, I don't know. You're definitely... We can't do a recipes because you're not going to top their drink recipe. That shit was bizarre as all hell. I mean, give them that. That's a straight up like... what do we say? The Lovecraft thing. That was something bizarre right there. Clamato juice in this thing.
What is that? Clamato juice.
It's clams. It's clam and tomato.
Oh.
It's tomato juice made with clam juice. It's mixed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty whack.
And that's an old-timey thing, is mixing like a Yingling or something like that, or, just a light beer with, I think actually like Bud Light or something like that made one pre-mixed in the can, like Bud Light with Clamato or something like that. That's a thing.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's rough.
It's like an old-timey thing. I think that's more like northern. It might be in other areas too, but I know a guy in Greenville, not Greensburg, but Greenville, close to where you went to school, Tori.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that was his like beverage of choice, was like, light beer with Clamato juice.
Oh my. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't say I've ever. I'd certainly give it a shot, though. I would try it.
In beer?
Sure, I'd give it a shot.
Drink.
Yeah, you love garbage
I'd
weird
try
beer.
I just like trying things. I like trying new things.
Dude, I mean, I don't like Bloody Marys to begin with. Clamato is whack. I mean, I'm not that opposed to Clamato, I guess. I'm not a huge tomato juice fan. Like, I'm not a big V8 fan in general.
Yeah, me neither.
I like the V8s, the V8 splashes when they mix it with the juice.
But again, that's all
and
just
add sugar.
That's all just sugar. That's just pure sugar. So, as we've already established, that's the only thing that will ever get a high rating out of you is just basic sugar, which this already had, and you still gave it a bad rating. But
I could even see this being used on, like, summer squash and mushrooms and
mushrooms would be really good on.
Yeah, like put on a grill, put a little bit of this in a tin foil, little basket, let it simmer in that sauce.
Actually, what this reminds me most of is when I get like,
I think teriyaki sauce would be better.
I think that like I get this sauce that comes on like if I get like a lo mein from the local Chinese place that I like, I think the sauce that comes on that it might actually be this, if we're being honest, and I really like that sauce, but it's pretty much 1-to-1 with this stuff. Like, hint of sweetness. I'm definitely going to buy more of this. I like this stuff a lot. I'm just going to see if I can find a bigger container for a better value.
Go ask your chef there at your restaurant that you like to go get the lo mein, and tell them, hey, I really like the sauce. Well, how do you guys make it? Because I guarantee you they're going to say, oh, well, I use soy sauce and I use this and I use that. And yeah, it probably tastes real similar to this, but it's going to be a fraction of the price.
I want to just look up and verify the price on Amazon. So we are seeing a 2-ounce thing on Amazon here for $3.89, which I think is about right. Like I said, what I say, $3 or $4 earlier.
Yep, that's what you said.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure before we all based our ratings off the actual price, I want to make sure it wasn't like 50 cents or something. Huh. Very interesting.
Willing to give it another spin. It's not canceled.
I'm not saying it's bad, right?
First of all,
we're not giving this bad ratings. We're saying it's a good sauce. It just could be better. There are better things out there.
I'm going to straight up try this on like just some rice and like some steam fried vegetables and stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Like a Chinese dish.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it because I think it would actually be really good on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would.
Better than soy sauce. I really like this a lot. I did give it some discretionary points as we discussed, but oh well.
Quite a few. A 7.5 for Adam. He's really digging the Gravy Master. That's Adam. He's all about that gravy.
Something bad is going to happen to you between now and next week. I already know. And it won't be an accident. They'll use this as episode of my trial, and I'll say, yep, that was me. I'm just kidding. For reference, that is satire, as we mentioned before. If something bad happens to Eric, it was an accident.
You better guard your gravy out there, boys.
Because he never went to the doctor. That's what happened to him.
Right.
He never went to the doctor, and he fell down the steps as a consequence.
Right. Well, he has been mentioning his feet hurting and some balance issues, so that is legitimately possible.
Oh, wow. There you go.
So I'm going to hold to that. If something
I still don't know what happened that one day. I think it was when we were recording.
And it was, because you slammed the table, and I had to go, Eric, please don't slam the table randomly. Like, the world is spinning around! And I said...
It was a freaky moment.
I said, what are you on, Eric? And you said, I'm not on anything, Adam. How dare you insinuate that I might be on some sort of non-prescription medications? He's smirking over there. I think maybe Eric has just become an alcoholic, a functional alcoholic. There's something going on with you. I've been marking the size of your bottle every time we come over.
Say my liquor bottles that never change every week to week.
They haven't been changing in levels, but the color in them has been getting lighter, I've noticed.
Filling them back up with water.
Yeah, that was the insinuation.
I got you.
All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us this week on the Gravy Master. Is it a sauce? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Gravy Master this week.
It hits it on the ballpoint.
Hits right on the ballpoint out of the ballpark. Ballpoint Park.
There we
Point
go.
State Park. Out of the Ballpoint State Park. Pittsburgh, another Pittsburgh institution.
Well, there you go.
Eric, do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to share with us this week? Perhaps an apology to your friend? You're going to go to a doctor? I don't know, something like that maybe? Before something happens to you?
I will go to a doctor. I was actually thinking about looking up the doctor you suggested.
Yes,
So
you should.
He was thinking about doing it.
about it.
Right.
That's the first
So,
step.
He was
Yeah.
gearing up
I need
towards actually doing
I
the
need a
research.
pat on the back now. I was thinking
I
about
don't
it.
need a pat on the back. I'm just letting you know
I
that
didn't
my
quite type
process.
the name into Google, but I had almost considered thinking about doing it.
Right. I'm going to mull it over for a few more weeks. Maybe I'll die before then. Who knows? No, and then it's, hey, summertime and those rain clouds, I know people are really upset about the rain here recently in Pittsburgh, but that's just part of the end of spring coming out. Summer's right around the corner. Take it all in stride. The rain isn't that bad. Honestly, I like storms. I like watching them.
Even if you do get caught out in the rain, even if you do go out on a bicycle ride and you get caught out in the rain and you fall off and you hit your shoulder, you know what? That's all part of living your life.
That's right.
You're never gonna be sitting in a nursing home somewhere and think, man, I am so sad that I went out and made memories on that day. That's all you're going to have someday when you're old and you're crippled and there's no one who comes to visit you because you're
shoulder.
a cranky old bastard man. Yeah, and you can't move your shoulder anymore because you fell on it too many times. You're going to be thinking to yourself, man, I'm sure glad I went out and made some fucking memories, because if I hadn't, I would have nothing to go off of here. And that's what, is my thing, is just live your life to its fullest, I guess, That being
Some
said,
wise words there, Adam.
That being said, Tori, what do you have for us this week?
I'm sort of on the same vein with both you boys, believe it or not.
Did you look at my notes, Tori?
I did not.
Famously
know.
don't have any notes.
But I went to that wedding on Saturday, and the father of the bride, he's a poor fella. He's wheelchair bound. He has MS real bad, and he's a great man. He fathered these two wonderful girls, one of which was getting married. And I'll be damned if he wasn't out there in his wheelchair in a 3-piece suit, bow tie, corsage. On the nines. And Lord knows that it can't be easy for this man to get in and out of this suit. It's hell. I'm able-bodied and I hate suits. And so I just watched this guy, and he had a really good speech. And boy, I thought, wow, what an inspirational fella. And for this guy to be wheelchair bound, be at his daughter's wedding, killing it, doing the absolute best he can. If I have a dummy thought, and think that I have it bad, boy, I got to think about him for a minute or two. And I think you should think about that too. Because boy, I'm not downplaying your sorrows. Don't get it twisted. But man, there's some other folks out there that are really have it bad, and they're making the best out of it, and you should too, because we're proud of you and we love you, and thanks for listening.
That is actually a really good point. Now, I know we're getting real long in the tooth this episode here, but I just want to touch on that a little bit more, because you're absolutely dead right on that. That is kind of like part of like that brain chemistry thing. If your life might suck right now, and it's important not to downplay that. It's good to recognize that, because that is legitimate sometimes. Sometimes life sucks, you know?
Yeah.
But one of the funny tricks that your brain plays on you is that's like how nostalgia works too, is that you go out and you have these experiences, and yeah, maybe you sweated your ass off at a wedding, but you made these memories. You went out and you did something, you have that vent in your mind. And the thing about that is, a funny, tricky thing that your brain does is that it actually makes you forget the negative parts, or sometimes it even makes you look at those negative things as like a positive thing. That's like how nostalgia works, though, is you tend to forget the bad parts. So it's important to remember that, like, hey, you don't have to avoid taking these opportunities or doing something because you're going to be, because it's going to be too hot out or something like that, or you're going to be sweaty and you're going to be a little bit miserable that day, because that is going to fade. That lasts for one day and you're done. But that memory of having been out there and having done something and have created that kind of memory and been around those people and seen those things and thought about that guy, in the wheelchair and all that, that stuff lasts for decades, way past that one slightly physically uncomfortable day. And that's like the crux of the thing for me, is that, like, just, capture as many of those possibilities as you can, I guess. That's kind of the point I was trying to make earlier, more expounded upon. So,
well done.
All right. Well, what can I say to nullify all that really heartfelt stuff I just said? I'll call Eric a piece of shit.
There you go.
What else can I say? Fuck you, Eric. The gravy was way better than you gave it rating for.
Your
I'm
rating
not the only
system
one
is
here.
cockamamie. Entirely cockamamie
yeah.
rating system.
Your rating system's totally arbitrary. Changes every week.
Ooh, can I just throw this in?
Please.
Gravy Master is 0 calories. Weird, 0 calories.
Oh, well, it's going up to a 10. I changed the rating.
Yeah. I have that in my notes here. Totally forgot to mention it. Thought it was weird.
No, okay, that's one thing. That's another good point, is that money is just money, but calories calories are what counts. And so,
wow.
in that case, value
Budweiser
per calories.
wants to hire you.
Yeah, you could put this in some Budweiser. It wouldn't add any calories.
What
There
is
you go. Have that delicious. Now the Clamato juice, on the other hand, that may add some.
Loaded of calories, I'm sure.
Loaded with sodium, if nothing else,
Yeah.
which I'm sure this is plenty rich in. Well,
Does it have clams in it or just like the juice?
clam juice, yeah. Yeah, it's not like chunks, I don't think.
Okay, I'm thinking like clam chowder.
No, it's not quite that bad, but
Okay.
it's like New England clam chowder, just if you put it through a sieve.
Manhattan clam chowder because it'd be red.
That's what I meant to say, yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Did I
We
say
used-
New England? Yeah.
We used
Manhattan.
7 servings worth there, just so you know.
Lethal levels of salt.
Yeah.
All right, well, like I said, we're getting real long in the tooth on this episode, but as always, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Oh, bad news is we're at the end of the show here, but hey, the good news is that we have several other episodes that keep you entertained. And while you're at it, send us an email, saucespoken@gmail.com. If you've had enough of listening to us and like to see us, you can do that too. You can stop over on our Instagram page. It's Sauce Spoken Official. If you wish to get down into the nitty-gritty, we welcome you to do so, and you could probably do that on the website. That's going to be saucespoken.wordpress.com. We have some show notes there. We keep track of the various ratings we give them over the episodes there, so if you wish to dig into the details, that's a great place to do it. In the event some unthinkable calamity, your favorite listening provider is not available, you can fire us up on YouTube. And of course, we'll be out here rattling our empty mayonnaise and mustard jars. If you'd like to donate to us, you certainly can. We are at PayPal at Sauce Spoken. We'll give you a little jingle jangle, maybe a wink and a smile on your way out. Keep in mind, we have stickers available for you. Slap them any which where you like, but they're available to you. If you'd like one, let us know. We'd be happy to send you one. And finally, we have a proprietary cryptocurrency out here. It's what's called Sauce Stoken. We have some details on it on the website. As we close here today, of course, we're going to ask you, please share us with a family member, share us with a friend. Hey, if you're enjoying it, I'm certain they would too. If you could, follow us, give us a rating or a review on that listening platform of your choice. Thank you for listening, and this is Sauce Spoken.